Hello, classmates. Mission Impossible 3 was the bomb. Winnie the Pooh's big awards win. And the movies, they're really full of themselves.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller?
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller?
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Welcome to Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
And I'm Tyler.
And no Joseph to round out our trio. Joseph is sick. He cursed us last week when he said that we were past all the sickness.
I know. What a paradox that is.
I know, very weird. But we're here. We're here via remote. Now that Joseph's not on the show, you could have been here. You could have been at my side, Tyler.
I know. Well, I mean, it was short notice.
I know.
But
that's okay. So how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. I'm in the comfort of my own room.
I see your pal over there.
Oh yeah, my boy. Yeah, he's sleeping on my bed right there.
He actually looks extra cute right now.
He couldn't give a good goddamn about the show that I'm doing right now. But yeah, it was a little bit of a stressful week. I want to ask you something. Is it normal for people to walk nude in their house? Is that a normal thing?
What are the contexts? Do you have roommates?
No.
No, if you don't have roommates, then yeah, I feel like if you live alone, or if it's just you and your significant other, yeah, naked's fine.
Well, due to the nature of my job, I interact with a lot of people.
Okay.
And I was welcomed with a woman with an open robe. What
was underneath the robe?
Nothing. It was nude. She just answered the door with an open robe.
That's a fetish. That's a fetish.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. She did it on purpose. That was more for her than it was for you.
Well, I averted my eyes because all I saw was a lawsuit.
Well, I appreciate your candor and then that you're actually keeping her out of your purview, but
it just made me curious. I'm just like, how many people are like opening doors with open robes?
I don't know. I don't think that's normal, dude.
Okay. All right. I'm glad
you're that's okay to think that's weird. Joe's in the chat, bladder thrust, and he says that he's a nude walker. He lives by himself.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, I mean, if you have the confidence, then I mean, God bless.
All right. Well, let's get right into some gab and chatter, shall we?
Shall.
Find some charity, ye lad. Now's the time for gab and chatter.
Gab and chatter movie news of the week. Tyler, what do you have for us? Timely, something brand new from a new movie, probably?
No, it isn't. It's a marketing story from Mission Impossible 3.
Oh, cool. Trying to get people to see that 15-year-old movie?
Right. When was the release date? Oh, in 2005 or 2006?
Looks like it's 06.
The marketing team for Mission Impossible 3, they wanted to do something akin to the Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I think it was the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie or a new season,
okay,
like where they like plant like things in public places. But then it created a bomb scare.
Oh, okay.
So these supposedly hidden digital music boxes were placed in about 4,500 randomly selected newspaper stands around Los Angeles.
Okay.
But the results from so basically, like when you opened it, it would play the Mission Impossible theme song.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was, I like it.
That's clever.
I think it's clever. But the arson squad reacted by blowing up one of the newsstands.
The arson squad's nope. We don't think it's clever at all.
No, and that didn't stop the assistant U.S. attorney from sending Paramount and the Los Angeles Times a letter threatening a federal lawsuit due to the damages caused at the hospital.
It was a hospital?
Yes.
What? Wait a second. The damages caused at what hospital? Oh, they blew up the newsstand at the hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The total damages racked up to about $92,855.77.
Oh my God.
The lawsuit came about 8 months after the incident, but was thrown out in the end because, it was all in good fun.
It's all in good fun. $92,000 worth of damage. Well, it's all fun.
I mean, that's pennies for Paramount.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, sure, they probably just paid the damages bill and then moved on.
Yeah.
And didn't have to worry about the lawsuit.
Because of all the blowback from the music boxes, Paramount had to reconsider its tactics for future promotions. Okay, we can't make fake bombs anymore.
You said it was basically a music box. What did it? Does it show what it
So
looked
it's
like?
like when you opened the newspaper box, like it would play the Mission Impossible like theme song.
Interesting.
They didn't want a Bomb Squad repeat, although it definitely boosted the publicity altogether. That was ultimately what they were trying to achieve.
Yeah, they got what they wanted.
Yeah, I really like that idea. Although I can understand that it would cause panic to the general public, I think that like that's punk rock, man.
No, I agree. There's that whole grassroots sort of, maybe not grassroots, but guerrilla style marketing, I think is pretty dynamite. Putting stuff out in the world. I'm still waiting for those obelisks that were found in the wild to materialize into some, guerrilla marketing campaign for some mobile app or some shit,
Yeah, I mean, like, I really like those clever marketing ideas. For example, that's in the zeitgeist right now is the Dune buckets.
Mm-hmm.
They became like a meme, essentially, thus getting more people to buy those buckets, go into the theater, and watch a Dune.
And watch a Dune. Watch one or more Dunes.
Yeah.
Did you see Dune 2 yet, Tyler?
I have not, no, but the
few people that I know that didn't like the first one and saw the second one came up on it. They're like, okay, I get it. And a lot of the stuff that was just kind of slopped through in the first one is paid off in number 2. Number 2 is also a lot more action-y. And so it's not like, I don't know, it's a little less cryptic, in the way it's telling its story. You just get a lot more fun and exciting action scenes. But I honestly don't know if it's going to be worth it for you to go to the theaters to see.
A lot of people, I remember in Dune 1, like everyone was thinking, oh, this movie is going to flop. No one's going to like it.
Who was thinking that?
A lot of people. I don't know. I can't name specific people, but
I don't remember hearing that at all. It's
you didn't?
The guy that made Blade Runner 2049 is making another sci-fi epic movie, and we're worried that it's going to suck.
I don't know. Like, I was just like reading a lot of people that were worried that this was going to flop because they knew that the director was incredible, but because of the subject matter.
Okay, like how can you adapt Dune, basically?
Yeah, because everyone, like, once that movie was put out, that it was gonna, not put out, but once it was gonna be, made, everyone immediately thought of David Lynch's Dune.
I can understand that for sure.
But I think that we need more, like you said, guerrilla marketing. That kind of publicity really gets your product forward.
I agree more that the meme advertising is probably where it really is making the biggest impact now.
Yeah.
With the buckets. Like, somebody had to look at that bucket and think, this is terrible. The design is god awful. Who wants to put their hand through plastic tendrils while they're eating the movie? And it's going to make noise while you're in the movie too. I can't imagine those are quiet.
I know.
Unless they're like silicone rubber, like very, very thin, but then they wouldn't hold the shape like that. So I've never touched one before. I'm a virgin, so I've never touched a Dune popcorn bucket, but I imagine it's very rigid.
If anything, oh my God. I am predicting that this bucket is going to be worth a lot of money in the future.
Yeah, it's like the Godzilla, Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie. All the advertising that was from that is, I think, the old school stuff is worth it a little bit now.
Yeah.
When you take a comb, like one of the like a hair comb, and you run your fingernail across the teeth, and it just makes that sound.
Yeah,
I imagine that's what it sounds like every time you take your hand out of that popcorn bucket. In the middle of the theater, 25 people, all over, as they're chugging popcorn. But anyways, the people who were on the board that decided to greenlight that popcorn bucket were like, yeah, but think of the memes. People are going to go crazy for this.
Yeah, so that's my point. Is
we don't have to plant bombs at newsstands. We could just let the meme universe work itself out.
I feel like a lot of people are moving away from traditional advertising, which is nice.
Sure.
I mean, like there's a place for traditional advertising too, but it's there's a new guy in town.
Sure.
And this,
it's a wild.
I mean,
it's a wild
they've been
west of
they've been
advertising.
always doing this though. But this Mission Impossible 3 was definitely like one of the first.
They shot their they shot their shot. I don't think it was the first, but I mean 2005. I'm sure there was a lot of guerrilla marketing before that.
Oh, yeah, I mean, well, Blair Witch Project is a perfect example.
Just gonna say that that's like the best example. So
yeah.
Anything else you got?
No, that's it.
All right. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this, but I think it's worth mentioning for a second because we've talked about the Rust controversy with the death on set. Alec Baldwin fired a gun that killed the cinematographer on set of the production of Rust. And the armorer, a lot of talk about the armorer. Oh, yeah, they hired an inexperienced armorer and it was the armorer's decision. You know, they're the person that's in charge of making sure that the guns are safe on set and all this kind of stuff. And why was there even live bullets on round? It was the armorer's fault. Well, the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in the shooting. Just this past weekend. Yeah. She's set to face up to 18 months in prison at the sentencing, which is yet to happen. Sometime in April, that'll happen. Just a little bit of tidbit. There's still a lot more to happen. She's the first one to go on trial, and there will be many more, including Alec Baldwin himself. Well,
I thought he already went on trial.
I think he was acquitted or not acquitted, or what's the other opposite of acquitted?
Guilty?
No. He was like found culpable or I don't know. Basically, he was able to stand trial for it. So, anyways, so that's interesting. Moving on, the Razzie Awards have taken place traditionally before the Oscars. And
do they have a show for that?
Well, I know they do because I've seen a fantastic clip of Halle Berry attending.
Yes, I was
attending the Razzies when she was nominated for Catwoman, and she thanked her publicist for putting her in this piece of shit god awful movie. Actual quote. I just watched it like a week ago. It's so bad.
You watched it a week ago?
Yeah, I think that I watched that clip. It popped up on Reddit or something. And
I thought you meant the movie. I'm just like, geez.
No. I'm pretty sure Joseph watched it. It was one of his streaming picks, I think. And why would you do that to yourself? It's got some of the worst ratings I've ever seen on Letterboxd. But anyways, yeah, I think she was drunk when she gave that speech. It sounds like she was drunk. But anyways, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was nominated for 5 categories. They were nominated for Worst Picture, Worst Screen Couple, that was Pooh and Piglet, Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel. I like that it's a ripoff as part of the categories.
Yeah.
Worst Director and Worst Screenplay.
Is it bad?
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Yeah. Is it really that bad?
Let's take a look.
I was under the impression that it was like a okay slasher film.
It has a 1.1 on Letterboxd.
Oh no.
No. Let's see what the IMDb score is. 2.9, which is actually a lot higher than I would imagine for that. It's stacked in 10-star reviews, which I think are ironic reviews. Hey, Joseph, our fearless third, Joseph is in the chat. He says, yes, it was that bad. So for the 5 categories, Tyler, how many categories do you think it won?
Probably 4.
This swept for the Razzies. They got all 5 awards. So worst screenplay, worst director, worst prequel, requel, or ripoff, worst screen couple. Worst supporting actor went to Sylvester Stallone from Expendables 4. I don't respect the Razzies because it has Franco Nero as the Pope in The Pope's Exorcist as worst supporting actor. And that movie is a tongue-in-cheek movie. It's supposed to be like goofy.
Okay.
His character wasn't bad.
Right.
Joseph says he just woke up. He wanted to see how the show's going. So far, A+. A+. Actually, it's a D because Joseph's not here. But yeah, who's going to nominate the worst anything for The Pope's Exorcist? That movie is a delight.
No.
Worst supporting actress, Megan Fox for The Expendables 4. Worst actress, Megan Fox, and for Johnny and Clyde, that's the one with Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh God. I forgot about that.
Worst actor, John Voight for Mercy. I don't know anything about that.
I don't
know
either.
if that's a faith-based movie. And then worst picture, Winnie the Pooh. There's that.
All right. I would love to be a fly on the wall to see the council of the Razzie Guild members, or I don't know what you would call them.
They had to take a break from making death threats to orphans to make their list. Who was it? They nominated like a little kid like a 7-year-old actress as worst actress, and they recanted it.
Oh, I actually do remember.
I think we
that.
covered it on the show. I can't remember 100%, but I was like, what soulless asshole do you have to be to nominate like a child actor for a worst actor?
I think the thing was like they were just trying to be like edgy.
Yeah,
maybe a little bit. Like they thought it would be funny, but like it's a child.
I know. George Bridges says he didn't even realize Expendables 4 came out. I haven't seen any of them. I don't want to. I feel like one day I'm going to binge all 4 of them in one day just to punish myself, but who knows?
I saw the first one in theaters, and I remember enjoying myself.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who'd you go? By yourself?
No, it was me and the late great Brent Daniels. We had a little bit of cash in our pockets that we wanted to burn, and we went to the theater blind. Like we didn't go to see that movie.
Yeah.
We rode our bikes there. We looked up at the
marquee.
The marquee, and we were just like, oh, Expendables. Yeah, let's check it out.
I think that would probably be a fun one to watch in theaters. And also, there's no like precedent. You don't know. You're like all these action stars together in one place for this movie, The Expendables. Well, it's a great concept. I'm sure it was fun. Was it fun?
Yeah, it was. The first one was fun. I watched the second one, and that was just, oh god, yeah, don't.
And then you stopped after that. No 3 and 4.
Yeah, like we watched the second one.
Good for you. You learn from your mistakes. That's not like you. I'm proud of you. Okay, so moving on from the Razzies, I have one more thing I want to talk about. It's not really a news story, but it's something that I found kind of fascinating. Oh, hold on. We got a nice comment from Joe here. Expendables 2 is one of the most serious, dumb movies I've ever seen. I didn't realize the man bro chutzpah could be that strong. Man bro chutzpah. I like that word. Chutzpah. Okay, I kind of love when movies say the name of the movie in the movie, right?
Yeah, the titular title.
Yeah. So I didn't know there's a name for it. I didn't know there's a name for it. They call it a title drop. And I found this website. It's called titledrops.net. And it says it's called Full of Themselves, an analysis of title drops in movies by Dominicus Bauer and Alice Thud. Yeah, those sound like names.
I like how they have it's like an author of a book.
This is better. This is like an interactive book. So I'm going to put the link to this in the show notes. So I encourage all of our listeners who are hearing this or anybody on the Twitch that's watching now, go check this out. It's called titledrops.net. And it says, a title drop is when a character in a movie says the title of the movie that they're in. Here's a large-scale analysis of 73,921 movies from the last 80 years and how often, when, and maybe even why that happens. And they have these scrub-along timelines, and it gives you you can explore these movies. And it talks about the history of this. You know, I'm sure you're all aware of the movie where one of the characters says the actual name of the movie. Overall, the meta-ness of this is, of course, nothing new, and filmmakers and scriptwriters have been doing it since the dawn of media itself. It's known in film speak as a title drop. Consequently, there's tons of examples throughout movie history that range from iconic, like the Back to the Future one, or the eccentric, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or the very much self-aware, like a Hot Tub Time Machine, where they basically wink at the camera.
Wait, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind title drops?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's got a picture of one here. Or to the downright cringe when it has Will Ferrell as a dead eye or dead shot or whatever from what are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
Yeah. So
it shows a data set of 73,000 plus movies and
Will Ferrell.
Will Smith, I'm sorry. Roughly 61% of movies on IMDb with at least 100 user votes. And they're looking at movies released between 1940 and 2023. And it shows this great graph of them. So
What's the earliest one? Can you see that?
They're only looking at 1940, but so I'm sure there's ones before that too. But so there's some interesting things here. He says, and here's a determining factor. Movies that have a colon in the title. Lord of the Rings, colon, The Fellowship of the Ring.
Is there a colon in that?
Yeah, it's Lord of the Rings is the franchise, and then The Fellowship of the Ring. Lord of the Ring, colon, The Two Towers. Lord of the Rings.
I thought it was just stacked up on each other.
No.
Wow. I didn't know there was a colon in the title.
Why is this exciting to you?
Because this is new to me. I love the Lord of the Rings series. And now I'm learning that there's a colon in the title. I'd never noticed.
Well, the next trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy,
Yeah.
It's The Hobbit, comma, Battle of the Five Armies.
There's a comma?
Comma, Desolation of Smaug.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like they're chapters or, books or whatever. So anyways, this website, titledrops.net, and our authors are esteemed authors, which I trust. Joseph Navarro says, it changes everything. There's a colon. But they say either if they say Lord of the Rings or if they say Fellowship of the Ring would count as a title drop. So that is
okay.
You shall be the Fellowship of the Ring. Only one title drop in that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's some stats. About 36.5%, about a third of movies have at least one title drop in the runtime. That's shocking to me. More than a third. The number one movie with the number of this entire data set that's been looked at is a recent movie that is in the zeitgeist. It is up for an Oscar nomination right now. Does anybody? It's the number one time, like 267 times the name of the movie was said in the movie. Do you want to guess what that was, Tyler?
Oscar.
So it's a movie. It's a movie that's nominated this year for Oscars, actually multiple Oscars, and the name of the movie is said in the movie. It's got 267 title drops.
Jeez.
Joe in the chat got it right.
Poor Things?
George Bridges. Do they say Poor Things 267 times during the runtime of that movie?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the best pictures.
You didn't watch? Yeah, you did. You seen one of them.
What did I watch? Which one? I forget.
You saw it and you loved it.
Which one? I don't remember. Is it the right answer?
Yes, it's the right answer, and you saw it. Tyler, come on.
Did?
Yeah.
Oh, well, now
it's a name of a character.
Now I feel like a fool.
I'm not going to tell you the answer. It's the name of a character. I'm going to lead you to it. No, don't look at the best pictures.
I'm looking it up right now.
What's the best? What's one of the best movies you watched last year? Don't look it up, Tyler. Don't look it up, you cheater.
No.
I can see the screen on your reflection in your glasses. I can see all that.
Oh,
what
I
is
just
it?
remembered.
What
It's
is it?
Barbie. Right?
Barbie. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit of a cheat, though.
So what? Why? Because it's saying the name of the character's name?
Well, it's because, it's the character's name. Like, you could say that about Indiana Jones.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when he goes to Nepal to find the piece for the Covenant of the Ark?
But they don't say Indiana Jones, and the movie's actually called Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's not called Indiana Jones Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's called Indiana Jones in the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Is it not really?
It's just called Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I feel so bad. I'm such a bad fan.
I think later on, they added the title onto the front. Just in common speak, because it became part of it, just like Star Wars was called Star Wars, and then it became Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope later on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Back in 1981, it was just called Raiders of the Lost Ark. Without
all my VHS tapes are Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then the next one is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. But there's no colon.
Jones.
No colon. No, it's Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. No colon. So, which leads me to a very defining decision in my alphabetical organizing. If I put Raiders under R or I.
That's a good question. It's
a very personal question, and I'm not going to tell you the answer because that's like talking about religion, So, anyways, there is a specific, being a little bit of a kind of a cheat having the name of a character in the title. There's a whole section about names in titles. Unsurprisingly, movies named after one of their characters have an average of 24.7 title drops, more than twice as much as the normal 10.3. Protagonists have a tendency to pop up repeatedly in a film, so their names usually do the same. Similarly, movies named after a protagonist have a title drop of 88.5%, while only 34.2% of other movie drops are their titles. It's stacked when there's a name in there.
Yeah.
There's a name.
I'm sure.
This gets even deeper.
Oh my God.
Some people are checking out and some people are enthralled at this. These are movies that are named after a character that only have one single title drop in the entire movie. Amadeus from 84, I'm sorry.
They only say Amadeus once in the movie?
Yeah, he goes by Wolfie through the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wolfie, because he's Wolfgang. Annie Hall, only one title drop. The Princess Bride, only one title drop. Patton, Only one title drop.
Wait a minute, he's a general. How is there only one title drop?
They don't say Patton. They probably call him Sir or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and there's a couple other ones here, ones that I've never heard before. And then they go into the phenomenon of fake title drops, where people will make a joke, like a meme out of it, and they'll post a picture of a screenshot from, American Psycho, where Jared Leto's about to get axed by Christian Bale's character, by Patrick Bateman. And he looks up, and in the subtitles it says, "I knew it was you. You were the American Psycho the whole time."
Oh, God.
And it's like a fake subtitles to make it look like they're saying the name in a movie that doesn't really belong or whatever.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's a great hobby they have.
This goes, I'm not even halfway down the page on this thing. And
that's crazy.
And this is interactive too. So if you scroll through these, it's this great graphic. It's like a film strip, and every time there's a title drop, it's got a line, and it'll highlight it, give you the timestamp of the title drop, and then tell you what the actual full quote is. This is a great website. So
I gotta check that out.
Titledrops.net is where you find that. Anything else you wanted to bring up, Tyler?
No, I think we covered a lot.
Okay. It's time for streaming picks.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime.
I like Netflix.
You found the pick.
Streaming picks. Movies that we watched on our streaming services this week that you can watch on yours too. Tyler, what do you got?
So I checked out 2024 Spaceman streaming on Netflix.
Hey, and before you get into that, did you write a letterbox review for this?
I did.
Okay, so we had a couple of listeners write in, and they mentioned just how delightful it was listening to you attempt to read your own letterbox review. And I think we're turning it into a new segment. Oh, hello. Come along, won't you? As Tyler reads his own letterbox reviews. This is me, myself, and Tyler. All right.
Oh, that's great.
Me, myself, and
Wonderful.
Tyler.
Well, I'm glad people like hearing what I have to say on Letterboxd.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Spaceman, and you're going to read directly from your letterbox review?
Yeah, so the review goes as this. Initially, after watching this movie, I immediately wanted to write/talk about it. However, I was at a loss for words. The existential crisis that... Oh my god, I spelled... I said Sandler's. Adam
Sandler's?
Yes.
Okay,
the existential crisis that Sandler's character goes through and his mental health barriers he overcomes in this film is a very great representation of what everyone needs today. A giant sentient spider from out of space with a curious mind for the human condition. Gotta go check all that. The minimalistic style, much akin to all great space movies, really locks you in the fact we are dealing with a creature in the animal kingdom feared by most was a pleasant twist of events for the main character. It's a simple yet complex story of a man in isolation. Adam Sandler.
Sandler's?
Yeah, Sandler's.
Put some respect on his name.
Adam Sandler will be regarded as one of the greats because of his range and delivery in his performances. I was surprised Dano was involved, not because I don't think he would take this project on, but seeing his name and knowing the context, this will be a serious Sandler movie. I knew I was going to enjoy it. The CGI was okay, but I have always said if you have a great story and good writing, the special effects do not matter. I was weeping at the end. This movie should be checked out by everyone. The plot moves at a very efficient pace, and I feel no lulls in the story. Grade A+.
Grade A+. How many stars did you give it?
Oh, well, I mean, all stars.
All stars, five stars?
Yeah, 5 stars.
Really?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Cool.
I mean, I think what this movie... I think what really grabbed me was just the I say simple yet complex. I think it toes the line of not being too like with High Life with Robert Pattinson. that was kind of a little bit more pretentious.
Okay.
I believe, but with Spaceman, it towed the line of being pretentious and also being inviting. And I think that it's because of Adam Sandler's acting skills and the dialogue, and plus Paul Dano, like he delivers his lines just like very, it's like a warm milk before you go to bed, you know. I really liked Spaceman. And what's interesting is that I don't know, as all the classmates know, I don't really watch a lot of movies that much anymore unless I'm forced to. I just had a bout of insomnia, and I was sitting at my chair at my desk where you see me right now, and I thought to myself, well, I could fart around on the internet, you know, look at memes and whatever,
go to the dark
YouTube videos.
Go to the dark web.
And and then I thought to myself, I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm feeling in the mood for a movie. And so I heard all this, you know, clamoring of Spaceman, how it was good. And so I logged into my Netflix and I put it on. And I was thinking like, I'm just going to put it on and just, you know, just like maybe be on my phone or, you know, just kind of tune out. But the way this movie was shot, it really, I mean, I'm watching on a computer screen, like not even on a television. And I was very sucked into this movie.
I think having headphones on for it helps too, because Dano whispers. His entire character is just a whisper, basically.
Right. And actually, that's a really great point, Pete, because when I watch movies, I'm almost preferring to watch it with headphones because it's...
You pick up a lot.
Yeah. That's Spaceman.
Can I piggyback on that? Because I watched it too.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
And I know that Joseph also watched it and he really enjoyed it. I think let's see here. Yeah, Joseph gave it 3.5 stars, but had a lot of glowing things to say about it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I'm kind of closer to where you're at.
Yeah.
I watched this in a slightly hungover stupor. We had I had a little bit of a lot to drink on Saturday night, and was hanging out with some friends, and I said I went to bed, you know, pretty spun, and I woke up not hungover but feeling not my best.
You feel, yeah, you're a little worked over.
I'm just kind of like farting around in my sweats for most of the day, you know, doing basic house chores, and me and Brianna put on Spaceman. And the plot of it is, I didn't know what the plot was. All I know is it was Adam Sandler in a very kind of a slow, moody sort of space drama. And this giant spider-like creature was voiced by Paul Dano. That's all I knew. And we both wanted to watch it, and we were both just kind of drained and ready for something minor to watch. And the kind of overcast weather, the low energy that we were both in, really attributed and helped me at least connect really strongly with the slow moving pace of this movie, because it really requires you to be like checked in. If you're on your phone and farting around somewhere else, or your mind is drifting on other stuff, you're not going to connect with this.
Yeah, I mean, it has Carey Mulligan in it as well.
Yeah,
really great.
Adam Sandler plays a Czechoslovakian space explorer who was sent out past the moons of Jupiter to investigate and take samples from this mysterious purple cloud event that is visible from Earth. And he's on this 1.5 or 3 year long mission or something like that. And Carey Mulligan, his wife back home, and she essentially is on the verge of breaking up with him. Like, they've been married for some years, and they have some trauma in their past, and she wants to send this breakup message to him, and he's, you know, millions of miles away.
And like the executives at the space organization were like, we can't do this.
He's already on a solo space mission for a year. He's going to go insane, and we can't send this message to him. And the director is played by Isabella Rossellini, and she's great in this too.
Yeah, yeah, no, everyone's performances were just like superb, and it's directed by a really great director, Johan Rennick, who directed my favorite TV miniseries, Chernobyl.
Yeah,
and he directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. I don't know which episodes he directed, but I know he did Chernobyl.
Yeah,
and
well, the thing that
shows.
Yeah, and the thing that I really liked about the story is that it does some back and forth. It shows some flashbacks to Sandler's character's childhood and stuff that he's dealing with, and why he's the way he is as an adult, and why the stuff that makes him who he is negatively affecting his wife, Carey Mulligan's character. And it's almost like this spider-like creature shows up out of nowhere, and you're not sure if it's real, if it's fake, if he's just losing his mind there. And there's this kind of back and forth between the two of them, and he is a little afraid of this spider. I say spider, but it's not really a spider because it's got a little mouth on it.
Well, it's shaped like a spider. It's kind of like going back to Lord of the Rings. It's like Shelob.
Shelob, yeah.
Yeah, it's not supposed to be a spider.
They're not elephants. They're elephants, Yeah.
So,
but anyways, the spider has properties that don't make sense to us. Like at one point, it's in the spaceship with him, and at one point, it's outside the spaceship, and it can meld its mind with his mind and see into his memories and make him see memories of his wife back home. It's very eccentric and esoteric in a way, because it deals with, I don't know, conquering your childhood trauma and forcing yourself to look at who you are as an adult and how that was shaped, and whether or not that warrants you being the way that you are,
So I've heard discussions about whether the spider was real or not. I think it was.
Yeah, I agree.
Just due to the situation that he was of his mission, I think it just came out of whatever portal, and there's one part in the movie where he sensed the loneliness of Adam Sandler's character.
That's why he said he came to him in the first place.
Yeah, because he had a curious mind.
Well, the spider was like,
it was dying.
Well, it was studying humankind. It was in orbit outside of Earth, studying us for years, and then but it still couldn't understand the concept of loneliness until it met Adam Sandler. I like that kind of plot point.
And I thought it was interesting that they used like a spider shape for that, because a majority of people are afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of spiders, but a majority of people are afraid of spiders. And in the end, like, you really feel his character, grieving over this creature that should be terrifying to anyone else. The movement of the plot was very efficient. Everyone who acted in that movie did really great. I wish more people. Well, I guess a lot of people watch this movie, so I'm glad that it's getting the recognition that it deserves.
And it's based off of I want to say a book or a short story or something like that.
I think it is based off of a short story. Yeah.
So who knows if the spider, like the shapes, has any significance? But I found him. The fact that I felt like I was going to cry at the life and times of a giant spider named, what's the name of the spider? It
was like
Hanush.
Yeah,
Hanush. Little side non sequitur. What percentage of movies do you think you watch on your computer nowadays?
Probably 98%.
Okay. Yeah, Kevin.
Because sometimes I'll go downstairs and watch. I'll catch a movie with
the family.
With the family. Yeah.
Kevman's in the chat. He says all of his movies are watched that way on his home PC with headphones on, and it is a different experience.
It is, and I kind of prefer it just because I bought really great.
Yeah, there's times I like it, and there's times I want to lay on my couch, but you really pick up a lot more of the sound.
Yeah, sure.
Anyways, what else you got?
Oh, that's it. I only watch Spaceman.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay, so I will go through some of mine. I should have just waited until you were finished with yours. I thought you had two for some reason. Okay, so I watched this really weird movie called Biosphere. Is from 2 years ago, and
that sounds familiar.
Well, Biodome.
I know Biodome, but Biosphere sounds familiar.
How
is it a ripoff of Biodome?
No, I mean, it has some of the same story beats. It's not a ripoff at all. But this is only streaming on AMC Plus. But you can rent it for $5 or whatever on YouTube. And this is a weird movie. I'm going to give a shout out to Force 5 Podcast. They had the entire Cinematics crew on, Bruce, Eric, and Greg, to do their like top 10 movies of the year. So it was like 40 fantastic recommendations about movies. And those guys, all 4 of them actually, get into movies that I've never even heard of half of these movies. You know, I've heard about them on their show, and that's it. You know, but they talk about so many movies a week, 52 weeks a year. It's a lot of movies. You know, you gotta be an addict to watch all those. Some might call them a cinematic.
Yeah.
But Biosphere is one I think Eric recommended, and it is very weird. It's a 2-hander. It is starring Sterling K. Brown, your child, and Mark Duplass. And Mark Duplass, I like him in almost everything he's done. He's got a very everyman sensibility to himself. He actually has a pretty decent...
I really like him.
Yeah, he has a pretty decent Twitter presence too. That's very positive. He talks about his, struggles with, mental health and, stresses of daily stresses of life and things like that. So yeah, he's a pretty interesting guy. And it's directed by Mel Eslin, who is a name I didn't recognize, but apparently they're like the kind of leader, the head honcho, president, CEO, whatever, of the Duplass production company. So it's very much like an indie production. This is their in-house production that they've made. And the synopsis goes, in the not so distant future, the last 2 men on Earth must adapt and evolve to save humanity. What does that mean to you, Tyler?
Well, I'm thinking about my science class where there has been female lizards who can reproduce with other female lizards. And so I'm assuming it's going into that direction.
How comfortable are you with your close friends?
Very well.
If I asked you to rub my back, would you do it?
I mean, reluctantly.
If I asked you to rub lotion on me, would you do it?
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly. This movie goes into some very strange places, and you're not too far off, Tyler. I don't want to say anything more than that, but I went in 100% blind and watched it, and I'm sitting here looking at it. I'm like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way. That's not no.
Yeah, but you're the last 2 human beings on Earth. Who's gonna?
There's no way. And there's some cool stuff too. It's fun banter between the 2 of them. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it's very interesting. And it's about an hour 47 or something like that.
Are they living in an actual biodome though? Is that the premise?
It's a very small one too. The biodome with Pauly Shore, it's like,
it's huge.
Yeah, it's 10 blocks in the dome. This one is like the size of a footprint of a house, if that.
So are they like scientists or something?
One of them, Sterling K. Brown is like the advisor to Mark Duplass's character, and Mark Duplass actually was the president of the United States before the world collapsed. And he's a fuck up too. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. Like their dynamic is funny because Sterling's character, SKB, he's like a super smart guy, and they've been best friends their whole life. And then when Duplass became president, he elected this guy to be one of his advisors on his cabinet.
Oh, I thought they were going to be estranged or something like that.
No, they're very, very close friends. Very close. And but it's a comedy. It's fun. It's an interesting slice of a weird life. And yeah, it goes to some places that I think is worth checking out. So if you're into something absurd and some fun up close, it's just like a COVID movie. You could have made it during COVID because it's just one room, 2 characters. That's it. Okay. And there's an interesting concept of this like green light that's coming towards them, and it is never quite fully explained. It's pretty fun.
It's only on AMC Plus.
Yeah, but you can rent it for $5. Yeah, or $4 on Amazon or something like that.
Do you think it's worth the rent?
If what I just said sounds interesting to you, yes. If what I said sounds like, ew, that's weird, I don't want to get into that. Then don't do it.
Okay.
That's Biosphere, streaming on AMC Plus from 2022. The next one I watched it's on Netflix right now, and Hulu, and AMC Plus, and Roku, and Tubi, and Canopy, and Shudder, and Pluto, and Plex. Yeah,
Very available.
You can get it everywhere, and I have a poster of it hanging on my wall. It's the Babadook.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I think the Babadook, when it first came out, it got a lot of praise heaped on it, and then after that, I think it turned into, it kind of got lumped in with this quote unquote elevated horror conversation. I don't consider it that way, you know. I don't consider it in that camp or whatever. Joseph Bridges asked, is Tyler comfortable nude walking around me? Around Pete, about me.
Oh, about you?
Would you nude walk around me, like if we were roommates? If I allowed it, I would say no.
Yeah.
I would banish. I would banish it.
You would make the rules.
Yeah, that's true. But anyways, I think the Babadook, and it kind of got lumped into this like pretentious sort of, the horror is really the psychological aspect of it. And I mean, horrors have been like that since the dawn of time. You know, there are straight ahead creature features and there are slashers and there are whatever, but mixing in a psychological aspect and an unreliable narrator aspect has been done forever. So I don't know why that, for whatever reason, got lumped in with the rest of these, or Hereditary or whatever. And not a bad camp to be lumped in with. I think Hereditary is my maybe second favorite horror movie of all time.
Should have been nominated by the Academy.
I agree. There should have been some nominations there in that production. But so I did a big order, some physical media order from Umbrella Entertainment out of Australia. And I was going to buy 2 things from them.
I thought Australia didn't exist.
It's, well, you know, it's there.
Okay.
Don't listen to the YouTubers. It's actually there. I know at least 3 people that live there. It's my favorite continent / country. But I was like, well, if I'm going to order, and if you go over a certain amount, the shipping's free. And it's, you know, it's a pretty big amount because shipping is expensive as shit from the underside of the world, from Earth's taint to America. But so I got the Babadook because it's an Australian production. Jennifer Kent is Australian. She wrote and directed it. And I watched it again. It's been many years since I've seen it. And boy, is that a fantastic movie. It's so good.
Yeah, you know, off air, you recommended it to me very highly.
The Babadook?
Yeah. So I think this. No.
Oh my gosh. I know I say this every week. You, Tyler, should watch this. And I know you just goes in one ear and out the other, and you've never watched any.
That's not true at all.
Yeah. What was the last one I recommended you to watch? That you didn't. You can't recall because it goes one in ear, one ear out the other.
No, that's not true. I remember you recommended it very highly. I think it was as early as last week.
Yeah, I told.
And knowing that it's streaming, I think this is going to be a perfect Saturday night movie.
It's a great Saturday night movie.
Oh,
I think I recommended Nimona to you. I think that was the one that you were going to watch.
Oh yeah, that's right. That one's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, and so is this. You do a double feature. But anyways,
I got a busy night.
I won't say much about it since you're going to be watching this soon, and I think most people that are listening to this have already either seen it or know about it. But more or less, it's a mother. She is raising a young boy. He's 6, almost 7, and they don't celebrate his birthday every year on the birth date because her husband and the boy's father, her late husband, died in a car crash on the way to the hospital to deliver the boy. So the day of his birth was the day of his death. And so she's been raising this child for 6, almost 7 years as a single parent. And this child is fucked. This is this is the best advertisement for not having children. This is the best contraception campaign. You should show this in junior high.
Contraception.
Because what can you do when the child that is born of your blood comes out and it is a insufferable, just the worst, you know, not we need to talk about Kevin level, not a serial killer, but God, he's just an annoying little shit the entire time. And there's memes that have been sparked from this, you know, about the child and how annoying it is and stuff. And man, they do a great job, but that kid is insufferable. Man, he's tough to watch. And the performance that's put through by the lead actress, I can never remember her name. Let me see if I could get it here real quick. Give her some respect.
Well, I mean, if it lists this kind of reaction, like that kid actor is probably damn good.
He's good. He didn't really do anything since then, so I think it was kind of a one-shot sort of thing. But Essie Davis is the main actress. Essie Davis. She's good. And she basically is just trying to deal with the trauma of her lost husband 6 years later, I know you'd think that goes away, but I don't believe it ever does.
No.
And the Babadook is a storybook that the kid finds. And he's like, Mommy, read this to me tonight for my story. And she's like, where'd that come from? Oh, I found it on the bookshelf. And it's a pop-up book, this fantastic production, physical pop-up book that they built for the movie that's about the Babadook. And it's, oh, I'm the Babadook. I'm here. I'm going to keep you company. And once you let me in, I'm never going to leave. And, better watch out because I'm going to haunt your dreams. And when I take off my mask, you'll see who I really am. And it traumatizes the kid. And then now he's like running around prepping to kill the monster when the monster comes in. So he builds all these contraptions that it's going to kill the monster. And it just makes things worse in real life for this poor woman. So there's two sides to the story. There's her psychological unraveling because she's sleep deprived. And that's something that will resonate with you, I know, Tyler. It's very much a psychological drama, but at the same time, there's this monster aspect. And the monster doesn't quite land as well as I remember. And I remember not particularly liking the monster a ton back then. So some of the reveals or the jump scares or whatever from the monster, not great. But the physical production of the entire movie is fantastic. And this disc, this Blu-ray that came from Umbrella Entertainment, has a behind the scenes of them building the house and how much care went into making the house look like it does, because the house is very much like a very important part of the landscape. And it really looks great. It's all the walls are painted with a distress. There's a distressing on the raw wood floors. It's just really, really good, a great movie altogether. So again, that is streaming on, let's see, the entire list here.
Yeah.
Netflix, Hulu, AMC Plus, Roku, Tubi, Canopy, Shudder, Pluto, Plex, and I think that's it. That is the Babadook.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah, just turn on your TV. It's probably playing right now. And that is from 2014. Love it. Love that movie. I watched a new release movie called Imaginary. It's in theaters right now. And this is the one about a stuffed animal that's an imaginary friend. And it's a horror movie. It's like...
Hold on one second. Is this the John Krasinski?
No, that's called If. Imaginary Friend, IF. Tyler, what happened to your mic? Did you unplug your mic? Sound like you're in a cave.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, there you go. Hey, you're back.
I was holding it the wrong way.
Okay. The tagline says, meet Chauncey. He's not imaginary and he's not your friend. And it's basically Chauncey's this stuffed bear. And this movie is getting absolutely ripped apart online. This is getting shit upon nobody's business. It's got like a 2.2 rating on Letterboxd. I've seen more of my friends have given this a 1-star review than most movies I can recall in recent memory. And it just came out yesterday, like day before yesterday.
Oh no.
It's rough. I mean, it's getting ripped apart, but I thought this was a perfectly fun horror movie. It's a PG-13, so you know that getting into it. It's not gonna scare the shit out of you. You're not gonna be traumatized for life.
Yeah.
And it's a story about a potentially possessed teddy bear. What are you expecting out of this movie?
Yeah.
When you get a movie that's about a kind of underworld of imaginary friends that are actually demons that are potentially possessing toys and, haunting children.
I mean, like, you have to have expectations, like, going into a plot like that.
Like, I wouldn't go into a kid's movie that was fine enough, because this movie's fine. It's not fantastic. It's not Oscar winning. It's probably a 3-star movie. I actually rated it 3.5 because the experience I had was fun. Me and Brianna went and watched it at a really late night showing.
Oh, nice.
On opening night, and got some popcorn and wore comfy clothes, and we're all bundled up in the theaters and had a good time. But it's not like an Oscar winner, but it's definitely not a piece of shit movie. Like a 1-star movie is something like, I don't know, Neon Maniacs, that movie we watched on, Night of the Red Museum or The Unstreamables.
Yeah.
Incoherent, doesn't make sense. Production quality sucks. Visual quality sucks. Sorry, Adam. The movie's not good. It's a terrible movie. This at least has a coherent storyline, and you can tell that some stuff was maybe baked into the story and they edited it out and missed kind of stuff. And it's very tropey. And some of the characters, you're like, okay, I get it. You're not a real person. You just smile. Your character smiles. That's all you do. No matter what's happening, you're laughing. You wake up, you're laughing. It's okay. These people aren't real people that exist. So take all that stuff out of it. There's some cool practical elements to it. When you finally see the creature, it's a practical like human suit with some puppeteering elements. And it looks goofy and it looks cheesy, but this looks like something that if you were like 10 or 12 or something would scare the crap out of you. And if you were younger, if you were like 6 and you saw this, you'd probably be having nightmares of that teddy bear and all of your other stuffed animals that worrying if they are going to be having a demon attached to it and going to pull you into the underworld, you know?
Your description of it reminds me of like a parent showing this movie to like their young child, like for fun, to just to traumatize them for no good reason other for your own entertainment.
Yeah, maybe.
And so, I mean,
I don't even think it's that. I don't even think it's that traumatizing. But there's some visual stuff in here that's like, ooh, that's pretty creepy. You know. So is it predictable? Yes. Is it creepy? Yes. Is it scary? Not really. It's not scary. It's more creepy. It's more unnerving. And there's a bit where, you know, how teddy bears have those dead black eyes, like glass.
Yeah.
Glass
like
eyes.
Marbles.
Like a marble.
Yeah.
There's a part, and you see a very small snippet of it in the trailer that, you know, has a human with those eyes in it. And you see a lot more of that, and there's a like extended scene with that in it, and there's multiple people with that. You're like, I don't like that.
Those are always creepy.
I know, it's super weird. But it's like, I got what I expected out of it, and I thought the physical production of it was really fun. And they go into the underworld. They could have done a little bit more with the sort of underworld, imaginary friend world, but it was still pretty fun. You know,
nice.
Yeah, it has little major influences of Coraline, but nowhere close to the quality. A little bit of influence of The Conjuring and a little bit of Mama, because there's like a stepmom figure and 2 daughters, and she's trying to essentially become like the mother figure to them because their mother was removed from the situation for various reasons. So, yeah, some missed opportunities in it, but all in all, it's like, I don't think this deserves the hate. So if you hate this movie, at me, I will have a nice long discussion about you or not about you, with you. Because I would much rather love a movie than hate it. And I think there was an earnest attempt to make a fun PG-13 movie out of this, and they did exactly that. I think any movie going to completion and being released is like a miracle.
It is.
And you know,
it's like a child.
Yeah. Dune Part 2 or the Dune duology. Or,
the
you
duology.
Know, or like
Dunology.
Yeah, the
it's
Dunology.
The Dunology.
That's like Jesus raising someone from the dead. You're like, holy shit. It's a miracle. And then this is like Jesus turning water into wine. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, still, you know, raising anybody from the dead, but it's still a miracle, you know?
Yeah.
People are giving this half-star reviews. They're like, they see Jesus turning water to wine, and they're like, that's it? My brother's blind, and you're turning water to wine? Okay.
Like, hey, well, Jesus, we survive off of water.
I know.
we need water.
They're nitpicking.
We don't need booze.
The miracle. Yeah. So anyways, that's just my 2 cents on that. So that's Imaginary. It's in theaters now. It's not streaming anywhere, so I'm breaking the rules a little bit, but I wanted to talk about that. And then lastly, a movie that is streaming. It just came out this yesterday, Friday, on Netflix called Damsel. Starring,
I've heard about that.
Yeah, and this is starring the Netflix darling Millie Bobby Brown that Netflix really wants to make a thing, and Hollywood really wants to make a thing.
And Drake.
And Drake. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. For those that are out of the loop, Drake has allegedly groomed Millie Bobby Brown since the time she was like 14 or something like that. Why her? I don't know. But I don't quite get her. I don't get like the appeal. I feel like she was great as 11 in Stranger Things. She played that part just right.
Yeah, she did.
But I don't know. Everything I've seen her in since then, in like her public perception and stuff, just almost seems like they're trying to take a child and make them like fast track them into an adult, you know?
Yeah,
like a sex figure, like a sexual object, very quickly.
Well, you know what? My thing is, I think they're trying to make her in the next Natalie Portman.
I could see that.
Like, I think that's what they're trying to do, and it's not working. It's not working. But Damsel, though, was she good in it?
So at the beginning, I was kind of really thinking Why do I need more Millie Bobby Brown in my life? This is not anything exciting. And it's directed by Juan Carlos Fresnadillo, which is the director of 28 Weeks Later. He's Danny Boyle's like longtime cinematographer, I think. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. And some people say that Danny Boyle directed that fantastic first scene in 28 Weeks Later, where he abandons his wife in the house. And then
he did.
And supposedly some people say that. I mean, Juan Carlos
that was a great scene.
Is credited for directing the actual movie, but anyways, so that's who this person is, the director. And the movie is like, it's a classic sort of like a dark Disney princess movie but the princess, it's more like a modern Disney sort of Pixar movie where they take this damsel in distress trope and flip it on its head, and she's the strong antagonist, or a protagonist. And the very beginning is, a lot of stories about a damsel waiting to be discovered, waiting to be saved. This is not that story. And you're like, okay, edgelord. All right.
Here we go.
Well, let me guess. At some point, she's going to prove that she's not the typical, not like your other girls, because she rides a horse. She's, I'm gonna guess that's where it's coming. And first scene of her, when you're introduced to her, she's chopping wood. You're like, all right. Okay, noodle arms, chopping wood. And her family is in this kingdom, which is very poor, very cold. And they get a letter that she is to be betrothed to this prince from this rich nation, beautiful rich nation. It looks almost like it's set in Italy. They probably took the exterior shots from Italy and just added castles and CGI in post.
Yeah.
And her father is Ray Winstone, great actor with great voice, great character actor. Angela Bassett is her stepmother, another stepmother story. And then Robin Wright, who played Princess Buttercup in The Princess Bride, plays the, you find out to be evil queen from the other nation.
Oh.
And that's a great turn because when we were watching this, Brianna says, Princess Buttercup would never do that. She would never say that. Princess Buttercup, no way. And so great turn for Robin Wright. And I'm going to say kind of a big spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler because it's in the trailers and it's literally what the entire movie's about. So if you just want to go in blind, fast forward 30 seconds. But she goes there to be betrothed to this prince. And it turns out that there's a dragon up in the mountains that they're required to give 3 princesses to a year so that the dragon doesn't destroy their kingdom. So he, quote unquote, marries 3 women from different nations. They sacrifice, they farm out the princesses from other nations, bring them in, marry them to the prince, one after the other, and then throw them to the dragon to be eaten.
Just throw them in the pit.
Yeah, and there's a more to it, the twist there, which I won't say because it does reveal some interesting things. And it turns into a survival movie where the character of Millie Bobby Brown is Princess Elodie, and she is in this cave with the dragon. And the dragon is voiced by Shohreh Aghdashloo, which is, she's the mom in the drug queen, cartel queen in, what's it called? Renfield recently that it came out. She's got a great raspy, gravelly voice. I want to say she's Iranian or Afghan. I think it's Iranian actress. Mm-hmm. She's got a great raspy voice, and she voices the dragon, who is a female dragon. And there's a reason for her demanding of these 3 sacrifices every year. And that is kind of predictable, but if you don't see it coming, it's kind of a nice reveal. The things I like about this, there's some inventive stuff in the dark reaches. She's down there kind of just trying to survive, and there's kind of like the ghosts of the women past who have already been eaten are trying to kind of tell her the way out. So it's a little bit like the Black Phone in that regard. And there's an interesting crystal climbing scene, which is pretty cool. And the way she's almost like a MacGyver, where she finds something to make herself a lantern, and then that's destroyed. And then she finds another way to make another makeshift lantern, and that's destroyed. And then she's able to use her surroundings to fight the dragon. And all that stuff, I think, worked pretty well. Very similar to Imaginary. This is going to really hit home for a younger audience. And for an older audience, this is a pretty well-crafted, middle-of-the-road fantasy movie. A lot of things that happen don't make perfect sense. At some point, someone tries to save her, and you're like, instead of the one person dying, which would have been her, like 20 people die, and that's considered a win. You're like, why? I get it. She's the princess, but all these other important people died too. And we're like, hey, she made it out.
Yeah.
Cool. So anyways, so that's Damsel. It's streaming on Netflix right now. I think it's worth a watch. It's fun.
Okay.
You know, it might be like, this is considered like light entertainment or whatever. Oh, hey, look, it's Jack. Jack says, hi, it's Jack. I had to sign up to comment this. Hey, buddy. He's chiming in from the imaginary underside of the world.
Jack, what are you doing up so late? It's so late.
Yeah. Is it late over there?
Yes. It's
11 hours ahead, 23 hours ahead or something like that.
Yeah, it's creeping up on.
I think it's early. I think it's like
early
7
a.m.
I think it's 7 a.m. Oh, he says it's 8:50 a.m. over there. You fool.
Oh, okay.
He says fool. So anyways, that's Damsel streaming on Netflix. And like I said, light entertainment. It's fun. I think the dragon design is cool. Some of the stuff that happens with the dragon and the way it interacts with the environment is cool. Doesn't always
dragon like silhouetted, or can you actually see the full dragon?
For the first half, it's silhouetted. It's just kind of alluded to, and then it really comes into full view, and it does not shy away from it. And it has a pretty good creature design. It bleeds gold.
It bleeds gold?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's actually gold, but the blood is gold. So, yeah, pretty cool in that regard. And then it's kind of funny though, because the tone shift. There's some interesting tone shifts. Like it goes from this lighthearted sort of, I don't know, fantasy romance sort of thing, and then once she gets into the cave, no one is outright. They're like killed off screen.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of deaths that are like full view on screen. Like one person gets like literally crushed and squashed like a tomato, and it's blood and guts squirt all over the place.
Ooh.
And you're like, God damn, that came out of nowhere. It's very at odds with the tone of the rest of the movie, but I still thought it was really fun. Damsel streaming on Netflix. If that sounds good, go ahead and give it a watch. Anything else, Tyler?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you to everybody in the Twitch chat. We actually had a pretty active group today. Looks like at one point we had 9 viewers. That's big. That's
awesome.
Big. That's big for us.
That's big. That's big for us.
Most people just watch it on the YouTube later on the podcast stream.
Yeah.
But thank you everybody who participated in the chat. We appreciate you. And thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather Sachs, Ryan Corbin, and Chris. If you want to support us on the Patreon, hit us up, patreon.com/middleclassfilmclass. We do have one cool ass yard duty slot left. You get your name mentioned on every single episode. It is the highest tier of support, and we are eternally grateful to our cool ass yard duties and to all of our Patreon members, from class clowns, teachers, assistants, and new kids in class. So until next time. Thank you for joining us as we gab and chatter this week with the Sans Joseph edition. Hope Joseph's feeling better. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, and follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, and leave us a voicemail, why don't you, at 209-730-6010. And you could also check us out on TikTok at Middle Class Film Class.
And Instagram and YouTube, also at Middle Class Film Class.
Yes, so please check us out on YouTube. That really helps us out.
It does. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Class dismissed.
I gotta get out of here.
The bell doesn't dismiss you. I dismiss you.
You're free to go.
See you next week.
See you later.
See you later.
That's a wrap.
Great show.